Obama. That's changed. However, rising unemployment, well, that didn't change, and a record number of foreclosures, no change there either. Wait a minute, $1 trillion health care bill that no one wants and a cap and trade bill that'll cost us an arm and a leg. Maybe that's the change he was referring to. Has the first year of the Obama administration produced change we were expecting? Let's ask FoxNews.com contributor Andrea Tantaros and Nancy Skinner from The Nancy Skinner Show. Andrea, we're going to get to you in a second. Nancy, I have to ask you, what change did we actually get that we actually wanted?
Well, let's see. We didn't get the depression that we were going to get with the Bush policies. Eric, you got to look at the situation. Our president Obama took on this economy when we had 2 wars, we had record deficits, we had on the brink of a housing collapse, a bank collapse. So many things were going wrong when he took over. To turn this around in just 1 year, start to see economic growth for the first time in 2 years, to see the stock markets all up, all the indices about 25%, to start to see the rate of job loss go from 700,000 a month to 1/10 of that right now, is an incredible feat. It's like, you cannot blame, it's like blaming the relief pitcher when he comes in after his predecessors getting blown out and does a bang-up job of winning the game. It's crazy.
Andrea, Nancy brings up some good points. She really does. I mean, to be playing fair and balanced. So you take the other, obviously, to take the other side.
Well, I mean, her arguments are just flawed. She says that we don't have record deficits. We've quadrupled the deficit since Obama's been in office. She says that we don't have 2 wars. We do have 2 wars, Nancy. I don't know what planet you're living on. 3.
Who started them?
Hang on, I let you talk.
I didn't say that. Who started them?
You said we have 2 wars. We don't have 2 wars. We do
That's
have
what
2
he
wars
inherited.
now. And he went into Afghanistan and increased troop levels. That wasn't George Bush. Also, if you're going to talk about rescuing us from the brink of a depression, look, liberals either got to give George Bush credit or not when it comes to TARP, because I believe that it was George Bush and Treasury Secretary Snow, the architect of that plan. So liberals can't have it both ways. Either TARP 1 helped, or it didn't.
Nancy, I'll correct her that it was Hank Paulson as a Treasury Secretary, a Republican administration that put through TARP. But that's just the point. I think everything we're seeing is a referendum against anybody who was actually for TARP. You might think, both as a Republican and as a Democrat, that somehow we've saved ourselves from the brink, but I would counter that we've set ourselves up for a depression because of the TARP bailout. It just isn't here yet. What do you say, Nancy?
Well, TARP was meant as an emergency measure because it was the lack of liquidity in the banking system, as you know, and that's what both Republicans and Democrats said. Now, a 3-page memo that had no restriction on any of that money, and it went out, and that it could be spent on bonuses. And what we're seeing now, in retrospect, is craziness. But that's what was done in an emergency situation. But President Obama is going in and looking at financial regulation so that it never happens again. We fixed it, and we're going to never let it happen again. And that's about as good as any president could ever do, Cody.
I don't think spending our way out of the
Let's talk about this. Let's keep it on point here.
Yeah.
In the year that Obama has been, in just about a year, in about a day or so, unemployment is at 10%. More people are out of work now than at any other time in the history of the country. Home foreclosures are at record levels than any other time in the history of the country. I'm trying to figure out what change. This is the change we were looking for.
Well, exactly, and Obama set the bar so high. Remember, it wasn't just change, it was extraordinary change. So he spent $787 billion for the stimulus with very little to show for it. The guy has not had a press conference since July. I mean, as a president, he's changed. He's a different man. He's at the end of his first year, but it looks like he's at the end of his 7th year. So even those on the left, I would argue, look at the poll numbers. You don't have to listen to what I say. They speak for themselves. He went from record high approval ratings to record low. I mean, his number is a record low right now. So we're posting.
But Andrea, people are tired. People are angry because we all know it's about the economy, and we were in such a bad shape to, it was Bush who doubled the national debt, okay?
Nancy, if you're trying to argue that Obama's spending less than Bush... He was handed a surplus,
and he had $128 billion surplus.
Are you really arguing, Nancy, are you arguing that Obama is spending less than George Bush ever did? Please make that argument right now.
Yes,
I don't think that you
absolutely,
can.
And I will tell you, not in nominal terms. Andrea, let me finish.
Not in nominal
terms.
Well, what sense are you talking?
Because he has a budget deficit, a budget that was handed to him from Bush. You don't start over at zero. I don't know if you're familiar with
Nancy, you can't run against Bush anymore. It makes Democrats look devoid of answers.
The debt is Obama's, even including his new measures.
Nancy,
of all the debt, most of the debt was tax cuts and wars. That's where the debt came from.
Thank you both very, very much. Andrew, it's the first time I ever say now you want to take credit for TARP. Usually Republicans are like, no.
No. I was never in favor of TARP. I'm just saying if Democrats are going to say that Obama deserves credit for TARP, they have to give credit to George Bush. I was against
TARP.
No, you don't want to take credit for TARP. You don't want to take
Nancy does. I don't.
Thank you, ladies, both very much.
Thank you, sir.
On tap next, folks, on Happy Hour.